Rebecca Warner stood outside her son's bedroom door in their Palo Alto mansion, her hand hovering over the doorknob. It was 2 p.m. on a Saturday. Ethan hadn't come out since yesterday afternoon. 22 hours. "Ethan," she called softly. "Honey, can I come in?" Silence. "Ethan, please. I just want to see you." Then finally a voice so hollow it barely sounded human. "I'm fine, Mom. Just leave me alone." Rebecca pressed her forehead against the door, tears streaming down her face. Her husband James came up behind her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "How long this time?" he asked quietly. 22 hours. This was their reality now. Ethan Warner, 17 years old, former straight-A student at Silicon Valley Academy, varsity tennis captain, early acceptance to Stanford, reduced to a ghost who couldn't leave his bedroom. 8 months of the best psychiatrists, medications, a $50,000 a month treatment facility in Malibu. Nothing worked. Their son was disappearing, and they were powerless to stop it. Then 3 weeks ago, something shifted. Small things. Ethan started locking his door at night. Rebecca noticed light under his door at 3 a.m., heard faint sounds, typing, talking. One morning, she found him in the kitchen at 6 a.m., making coffee. He quickly closed his laptop when she entered. "Morning," he'd said. The first unprompted word in weeks. Over the next 2 weeks, more changes. He showered regularly, did his laundry, actually ate his meals. Then James noticed something on their credit card statement. Philippine Airlines, $2,400, hotel booking in Cebu City, travel insurance. "Ethan, can you come here, please?" Rebecca called out. To their surprise, he did. Calm, almost confident. "Did you book a flight to the Philippines?" James asked. Ethan met his father's eyes. First real eye contact in months. "Yes." "Why?" "Because I need to go." Ethan sat down and, for the first time in 8 months, really talked. 3 months ago, I joined an online support group for severe depression. Everyone there was like me, high-achieving, wealthy families, depressed despite having everything. There was this guy, Miguel, from the Philippines. He'd been exactly where I am. Top student at National University of Singapore, perfect grades, crushing pressure. He was at his lowest point. He didn't want to be here anymore. Rebecca gasped softly. His family made him come home to the Philippines. He says it saved his life. We've been video chatting for 3 weeks, 2 to 5 a.m. because of time difference. He introduced me to his family, his mom, siblings, grandmother. They invited me to visit, to stay with them. "These are strangers from the internet," Rebecca protested. "This could be dangerous. Mom, every night for 8 months, I've gone to sleep hoping I wouldn't wake up. I've written 6 notes saying goodbye. I've thought about ending everything. I even picked a day, my 18th birthday, so you couldn't be held legally responsible." The words hit like bullets. James went pale. But talking to Miguel, I felt hope for the first time. Maybe I'm not broken. Maybe this system is broken. Maybe there's a different way to exist. But I'll never know unless I go. "You can't just run away because some guy online told you it's better there," James argued. "I've had the best help money can buy, and I'm still dying inside. Dr. Peterson, the medications, that Malibu facility, nothing worked. Nobody understands what I'm feeling. Miguel does. He lived it. And now he's actually alive again. I need to see that it's possible." Rebecca and James spent that night debating. Every instinct screamed this was insane. But at 4 a.m., Rebecca said, "What if this is his last cry for help? What if we say no, and 6 months from now?" She couldn't finish. They called Dr. Peterson. His advice, absolutely not. This is avoidance behavior. They called their lawyer. If anything happens, you could face negligence charges. They called James's brother who'd worked in Manila. Filipino families are incredible. If they've invited him, they'll treat him like their own son, but verify everything. At 8 a.m., they decided. "Here are the conditions," Rebecca told Ethan. "We meet Miguel's family via video call first. We verify everything. You keep location sharing on. Video call us daily. And we have a cousin in Cebu, Tita Marie. You'll visit her when you arrive. We're setting up a camera at her house." "You're going to spy on me?" "We're going to make sure our son is safe," James said firmly. "Take it or leave it." Ethan considered. Fine, but promise not to interfere unless I'm actually in danger. They agreed. 3 days later, at SFO Airport, Ethan hugged them tightly. He looked more present than he had in months. Clean clothes, combed hair, shaved. Thank you for trusting me, he whispered. They watched him go through security, this fragile boy walking towards something they couldn't control. Did we just make the biggest mistake of our lives? James asked. I don't know, but what we were doing wasn't working. 14 hours later, Ethan called from Cebu. I'm here. Miguel's family picked me up. Mom, Dad, there are like 15 of them. They brought welcome signs and flowers. They're hugging me like I'm family. I've never felt welcomed like this in my life. Rebecca heard something she hadn't heard in 8 months, genuine emotion in his voice. For 3 days, Ethan's calls were brief. I'm fine. Everything's good. He sounded tired, jet-lagged. Rebecca was going crazy. We need to check the camera at Tita Marie's house. They'd installed a camera in Marie's living room with a view of the street. Marie lived just houses down from Miguel's family. He's probably just sleeping off jet lag, James reasoned. But Rebecca opened the feed anyway and froze. There in Miguel's front yard was Ethan, playing basketball with Filipino teenagers, laughing, actually laughing, throwing his head back, genuine joy on his face. When he missed a shot, the other kids cheered him on, teaching him, patting his back. James, Rebecca whispered. Look at this. James stared at the screen. Is that our son? They watched for 20 minutes. Ethan was fully engaged, present, alive. When an elderly woman brought food, all the kids sat on the ground eating with their hands. Ethan was talking animatedly, smiling, completely natural. I've never seen him like this, Rebecca said, tears streaming. Not even before the Depression. He's always been so reserved, so controlled. This is who he could have been, James finished quietly. Over the next week, they obsessively checked the feed. Day 4, Ethan helping Miguel's father repair a motorcycle, covered in grease, smiling. Day 5, Ethan at a neighborhood basketball game, cheering loudly, completely unself-conscious. Day 6, Ethan on Miguel's porch with the grandmother, preparing vegetables, listening to stories. Day 7, Ethan playing with neighborhood children, giving piggyback rides, covered in dirt and grinning. Who is this person? Rebecca asked, watching her son dance at a street party, Filipino music blaring, Ethan right in the middle, completely uninhibited. By week 2, they checked constantly. Each time, more changes. Ethan dressed differently. Simple t-shirts and shorts. He walked differently, relaxed, open. He smiled constantly. He hugged people, gave high fives, put his arms around shoulders, something he'd never done. One evening, they caught him having a deep conversation with Miguel's mother on the front steps. She held his hand, talking earnestly. Ethan was nodding, wiping tears. She pulled him into a tight hug, and Ethan collapsed into it, sobbing. What is she saying to him? Rebecca wondered. What is she giving him that we couldn't? That night's call gave them the answer. Mom, Dad, I haven't felt depressed since I got here. Not once. And I've been trying to figure out why. Tell us, Rebecca urged. Here, nobody cares what school I went to, or my GPA or SAT scores. Nobody's measuring me. Nane Rosa asked me one question. Are you a good person? That's it. Not are you successful or are you smart? Just are you good? When I didn't know how to answer, she said, then we'll help you figure that out. He paused, emotion thick in his voice. They're poor by our standards. Miguel's dad drives a tricycle. His mom sells food at the market. Sometimes the power goes out, but they're genuinely happy. They help neighbors without expecting anything back. They share everything. They celebrate every small good thing. They're present for each other in a way I've never experienced. Back home, I felt like a performing monkey. Do the trick, get the reward. Good grades, get praise. Win the tournament, get approval. But it was never about me as a person. Here, people care about who I am, not what I do. For the first time, I feel like a real human being. Rebecca was crying. We love you, Ethan. We always have. I know, Mom, but you love the successful version of me. The Philippines taught me there doesn't need to be a successful version. There can just be me. The camera showed the transformation continuing. By week 3, Ethan looked completely different. Tanned, relaxed, confident, alive. Teaching English to neighborhood kids, helping at the community center, playing basketball with local teenagers, learning to cook with Nanay Rosa. One afternoon, the camera caught something extraordinary. A new foreign kid arrived, another depressed teenager. Ethan sat with him for hours, talking, sharing his story, offering hope. He's doing for that kid what Miguel did for him, James observed, paying it forward. Rebecca watched her son put his arm around the new kid's shoulders, both laughing. We didn't save him. The Philippines did. Not the country, the people, the culture, the way they see life. When Ethan came home weeks later, they barely recognized him. Tanned, muscular from daily basketball. Eyes alive again. He hugged them tightly. I missed you. I really did. Over the following months, Ethan thrived. Community college, volunteering with Filipino organizations, planning his return to Cebu. The depression still appeared sometimes, not magically cured, but he had tools now. Perspective. Hope. We check the camera every day, Rebecca admitted one evening. I know, Ethan smiled. Tita Marie told me. I didn't mind. I wanted you to see I was okay. More than okay. Rebecca pulled up footage from his first week, Ethan playing basketball, covered in sweat and happiness. We watched you become who you were meant to be. We realized we'd spent your whole life trying to make you successful. The Philippines taught you how to be happy. There's a difference. Ethan nodded. The best thing you did was let me go, even though you were terrified, even though everyone said not to. You trusted me to find my own way. That means everything. The CCTV footage that shocked them became their most treasured possession. Proof that sometimes the best thing parents can do is step back and let their children discover who they really are, even if that discovery happens 8,000 miles away, with people they never would have chosen. The Philippines didn't just save their son's life. It taught them all what living actually means.